Hi everyone, my name is Guido, and for this presentation, I'll be talking about the morals and the ethics of IT and how they connect to professional decisions in the IT world. The main question I want to focus on today is when technology gives us power over other people's data, um, what should guide us? Should it be personal morality? Should it be professional ethics, the law, or maybe all of them? Um, yeah, so in my opinion, IT needs everything. The law gives us boundaries, morality gives us like kind of like the trajectory of where we should be going, like the direction, and ethics gives us a way to make like responsible decisions when the answer isn't very clear. All right, so why this matters? This topic matters because technology turns private decisions into very public consequences. In IT, a person might only be clicking a few buttons, changing a setting or writing code, maybe accessing like a file, but those actions can affect real people. Like it may be a person behind a screen, but it doesn't make them any less of a person. IT workers handle a lot of trust. They may work with passwords, personal information, networks, AI systems, like AI devices, yada yada yada. And even if the work feels technical, there's still a human side behind it. All right, so ethics prevent harm. Something can technically be allowed or even legal, but morally, it could still be, you know, not very great. For example, a company might collect more user data than it really needs. That might be illegal, depending on the policy, but it can still feel wrong if users do not fully understand what's happening. Um, Sorry, going back on it, it might be legal, but the users may feel wrong. Well, I guess I have explained it right the first time, so maybe I might not even need to correct myself. Let's see. Personal judgment also matters because not every situation has a perfect rule written down. Sometimes policy is unclear, or there's pressure from a boss, company, or just convenience. Ethics gives IT professionals a framework for making better decisions in those moments. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's why this matters page. Morality can be understood as a person's inner compass. It is what a person or community believes is right or wrong. The assigned reading explains that morality can be understood in more than one way. Descriptive morality is the code of conduct accepted by a society or a person. In other words, it describes what people actually believe is right or wrong. Normative morality, I think that's what it's called. It deals more with people that should believe, uh, or it deals more with people that should believe it's right or wrong. Under fair and rational conditions, instead of only saying like this is what my group believes, it asks like what should rational people agree on if they're trying to avoid like harm. Okay, so one important point from the reading is that morality is not just like whatever I feel like. It's a real moral system that usually involves like avoiding harm or preventing harm to others. And that matters a lot in IT because technology can harm people pretty silently. A privacy violation or a security mistake can damage someone's life. I know because I mean it happened to me once, where my username actually was interpreted the wrong way, and I was painted to be a person that I really wasn't, and it kind of ruined my reputation. But moving past that, it just happens, you know. Like that's one of those things. Okay, so ethics is closely related to morality, but it's not exactly the same. If morality asks what I believe is right, ethics asks, like, how do I decide what should be done? Morals are more personal. They come from like religion and life experience, but ethics is more like systematic. It uses like professional standards, like fairness, like duty, um, and even like consequences. It uses all that to help people make decisions. All right, we got a couple slides to go through here. Um, but this is basically just like the same thing as I was saying. Like last slide, it's they're pretty similar. It's basically okay. So like morals is more like personal, and ethics is more like public and organized. It's ethics is more used in like professions and like the workplace environment, and it helps people explain and like justify decisions to others. Um, but one thing I didn't mention is there's similarities between the two, but both are connected with basically just like right and wrong. Both aim to reduce harm. Both shape. Sorry, not shame. Both shape trust and character, and both matter when nobody's watching. Okay, so the last part is important in IT. A lot of unethical behavior happens when someone thinks no one will notice. And for example, someone might access private like data just because they can. I know because I accidentally did that once, and it got me in a lot of trouble. And that at the time didn't seem like morally wrong, but ethically it was. So again, very similar but very different at the same time. And they may not get like people may not get caught right away. Example, like with me, it didn't. But it is still wrong because it violates trust, which at the time I didn't really know. I thought signing into a nurse's account and accessing a residence file because I work in hospice was completely and ethically correct because I was assisting the person that was trying to get that information with getting the information that they needed. And at that time, I mean, we're allowed to give it, but it just wasn't my own account. So that was wrong on my part. I didn't know that. And moving forward, now I know that it is wrong and it shouldn't be happening again, or it shouldn't happen again. And I guess that's a good way to, differentiate between moral and ethics. And so I'm going to move on to the next slide. I don't know how to pronounce this name correctly, but I believe it's Mariros. I think. Anyways, they discuss information, or Mariros and Williams discuss information ethics and how students and professionals use and judge that information in digital spaces. This matters because almost every part of life now involves digital information. And people are not just reading information anymore. They're sharing it, they're editing it, they're misusing it sometimes. And Williams discusses actually the ethical concerns about AI and higher education. And sometimes that concern includes like privacy, autonomy, like plagiarism, stuff like that. All right. 1 second. Okay. A biblical principle that connects well to this topic is Micah 6:8, which says to act justly, love mercifully, and walk humbly with God. And I think that this is a practical and ethical framework for tech. Justice means treating users fairly and avoiding exploitation. And in IT, that could mean not taking advantage of people's lack of technical knowledge. It could also mean that designing systems do not discriminate or hide important information. Mercy means designing and using technology with empathy. It means remembering people are real and can be harmed by bad systems, like a security failure or like a privacy leak, or a confusing policy that can affect someone's job, reputation, or even like safety. Humility means admitting limits, and the connection to IT is that ethical practice should protect people. It shouldn't just, protect organizations. It should protect everyone. And ethical practice is that basically, it should protect everyone. Company may care about efficiency and profit, but Christian ethics reminds us that people have like dignity and should not be treated like data points. If that makes sense. All right, wrapping this up. So, as an IT professional, I want to just apply ethics in a practical way. Just talk about it. For example, imagine I notice a coworker or a team member using like Microsoft Access in a way that's technically possible but ethically questionable. Maybe they're viewing data they do not need, which in my case was prevalent. That happened with me. Ignoring a security risk or using their permissions for something unrelated to their job. In that situation, I think the wrong response would be gossip, and the better response would probably be to document what I saw. But knowing me, I'd probably gossip about it, which is wrong. But it's the better way to respond to something like that would be like avoid spreading rumors or ask questions. And that can be uncomfortable because nobody wants to be the person who causes drama, but protecting people is what matters more in this case. The lesson for me is that ethics is not only about being a good person, but it's about making like reliable decisions when pressure and fear are like in the room with you. That's where ethics becomes like real. All right, so to conclude this all, morals and ethics are connected, but they play different roles. Morality is personal, and ethics is more structured. In IT, ethical choices protect privacy and trust, and the biblical idea of justice and humility also give a strong foundation for ethical technology. And it reminds us that technology should serve people, not just systems or companies. And my final position is that IT professionals should not treat ethics like paperwork. Ethics is a part of competence, and if your work can harm people, the responsibility is to think before it does. So when technology gives us power over other people's data and safety, the best answer is not morality alone or just ethics alone or the law alone. It should be everything. Personal values, it should be professional standards and legal responsibility and like all that, all are combined. And here are my references. Thank you for listening to me chamber for 13 minutes, and you have a good day.